Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, and my God, what an awful show this was tonight. Monday Night Raw was terrible. It was boring. If you didn't watch the show tonight, you did not miss anything outside of the Gauntlet Match. And the Gauntlet Match was the main event of the show, where the winner will get to face Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Outside of that, nothing happened on the show tonight. But we had Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. We had Candice, LeRae, and Indi Hartwell versus Ivy, Nile, and Maxxine Dupri. Then we had the women's tag team titles on the line. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defend the titles against Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. And then we had Damian Priest versus R-Truth. Yeah, sounds like a great Monday Night Raw was tonight, right? Absolutely awful show. But in the Gauntlet match, we had Ricochet, we had JD McDonough, Bronson Reed, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Chad Gable. So those were your guys in the Gauntlet match. Overall, Monday Night Raw, terrible, boring show it was. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre made his way down to the ring. And of course, he'll face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania on night 2. So McIntyre got on the mic. The crowd ended up booing him. He ended up saying, selfish, delusional, arrogant, hypocrite, junkie. He ended up saying, you couldn't help yourself, Seth? Could you? You had to accept the tag team match. So, he ended up saying 2 main events back to back. You had to get that fix, junkie? So McIntyre ended up saying that at least when he dropped Cody, he had the sense to go and try to finish his story. He ended up saying when he dropped Seth last week, he found the energy and fire he was missing, only to file it into his own selfish agenda. So, of course, the crowd was giving McIntyre the what chance. So, McIntyre retaliated to the crowd. He ended up telling them to say what if they're glad he took out CM Punk. So, McIntyre ended up saying that he always tells the truth, and he has the answer. He ended up saying, do they want to know what the bigger picture is? And so the crowd started chanting for CM Punk. McIntyre then was shown laughing. He ended up saying that is absolutely not the answer. McIntyre ended up saying that he expects a thank you card from Punk because he's the only one keeping him relevant right now. He ended up saying that the bigger picture isn't Cody Rhodes and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and even himself. The bigger picture is The Rock, to which the crowd ended up booing at that. So McIntyre was like, think about the history of this industry. He ended up saying, actually, they don't know the history of their own country, so we'll give them the history of professional wrestling. He ended up saying, we started in the carnivals, then we went to the smoky armories, then sold out arenas, sold out stadiums, and billion-dollar deals. I'm like, do we need to know all this? He ended up saying, what is the next evolution? It's working together with one of the most powerful people on planet Earth. So McIntyre ended up saying that he is upset with Cody. He ended up saying Cody promised a match and took it away. He ended up saying that he's a liar and insulted his family. So he ended up saying that it's not his business. McIntyre ended up saying that it's not his business and it isn't Rollins' business either. He ended up saying Rollins thinks everything revolves around him. McIntyre ended up saying that the minute he realizes the industry is bigger than himself, he'll become the legend he is in his own mind. He ended up saying then everyone's prayers will be answered. So McIntyre was like, we'll have a future champion in himself, a champion you can invest in and be proud of. And that led to Seth Rollins coming out. He came out decently wearing a red sparkling suit. So Rollins ended up getting on the mic. He ended up asking McIntyre for a favor. And that favor was for McIntyre to shut his mouth. So, of course, the crowd started singing along to Rollins' song, the whoa, oh. So Rollins was like, oh, we'll get to the singing. He kept saying, but Drew McIntyre has been begging for his attention. So give McIntyre a little rub. Rollins ended up saying that he has good news for McIntyre. He ended up saying now that the WrestleMania main event for night one is in the bag, he's been thinking a lot about that Claymore that McIntyre laid him out with last week. So Rollins ended up saying that McIntyre almost got his full attention. And maybe they can get all the way there with one more Claymore right here, right now. So Rollins then ended up challenging McIntyre to hit him with the Claymore. Rollins got to his knees, but McIntyre didn't budge. He didn't lay out Rollins with the Claymore. So Rollins ended up saying that he forgets McIntyre is a coward, and he turned his back on him to make it easier to attack. So McIntyre ended up getting on the mic. He ended up saying, before this gets weirder, he just wants to talk to Rollins, and that Rollins needs to hear him. McIntyre ended up wanting to tell Rollins that he was right. He ended up saying that Rollins told him before their last match, the one Damian Priest screwed up for him, that he needs to get over the bloodline. McIntyre ended up saying that he was right. And it kills him when Sikoa gets in his business and Jimmy gets in his business. He ended up saying that he wants to drop them on sight. So McIntyre ended up pleading with Rollins to take his own advice. He ended up saying that he didn't take it because all Seth Rollins cares about is himself. So Rollins then ended up saying that McIntyre is starting to remind him of somebody. He ended up saying that he cannot remember his name, and that McIntyre doesn't like him either. But he's got a lot of tattoos, and he's from Chicago. Of course, mentioning, CM Punk. So Rollins ended up saying that he always thought Punk was the biggest hypocrite in the world, until he met McIntyre. So Rollins ended up saying that for years, McIntyre complained about how the bloodline cost him all these titles and matches. He ended up saying now McIntyre is looking to be an honorary member of the bloodline. He ended up saying, could McIntyre have done that without the help of the bloodline? To which the crowd shouted no. He ended up saying last week McIntyre beat Jey Uso. Could he have done that without the bloodline? No. To which the crowd ended up shouting. So Rollins ended up saying that he doesn't buy this bullcrap about McIntyre not wanting the bloodline to interfere in their match at WrestleMania. So he ended up saying that McIntyre would like nothing more than to have the bloodline help him take the World Heavyweight Championship off his waist. He ended up saying that McIntyre wants to stand with The Rock and be the people's champion's chosen one. So Rollins ended up saying that he has news for him. It ain't gonna happen. He ended up saying night one, WrestleMania, Rollins and Cody will take down the bloodline. Then when it's night two, and it's just the two of them, one-on-one, the same thing will happen that always happens. Rollins ended up saying that he'll stomp McIntyre's head into the mat and pin his shoulders to the mat. And that in the biggest moment of his career, McIntyre will hear people singing Rollins' song. Towards the crowd started singing along to Rollins' song. So McIntyre ended up saying that he knows what Rollins is trying to do. He ended up saying that Rollins wants to put him out of his misery, and he won't do it. McIntyre ended up saying that he has to face Rollins at WrestleMania and pin him, and that there is nothing Rollins can say that will provoke him. So McIntyre then stormed off. Rollins ended up calling after McIntyre. Rollins was like, does McIntyre want to know why he hasn't paid much attention to him at WrestleMania? And to which Rollins ended up saying that he has a list of things that have his attention, such as The Rock, Roman Reigns, his broken back, and his blown out knee. He ended up saying the one thing he's worried least about is Drew McIntyre. So McIntyre was irate. He headed back to the ring. Rollins was preparing to fight McIntyre. McIntyre then ended up staring at Rollins, and then McIntyre ended up storming to the back, and pretty much that was basically that. Overall, I thought this segment was very mid, in my opinion. And then we had Chad Gable. This was a promo from Chad Gable. He kept talking about running the gauntlet. He kept saying this match against Gunther just means more than it does for everyone else. So Chad Gable was confident on him possibly winning the gauntlet match. And then we had the first match of the night. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Of course, this all came about, last week where Liv Morgan ended up interfering in Becky's match against Nia Jax, which caused Becky to lose by disqualification. So this match was just meh, in my opinion. So Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan, they start off the match, they end up locking up, they end up tussling around the ring. Becky Lynch ended up connecting with a waistlock takeover on Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan fought up. She ended up elbowing out of that waistlock by Becky. Liv Morgan then applied a side headlock. Becky Lynch ended up whipping Liv Morgan off, but Liv Morgan ended up clotheslining Becky down. Morgan then hit the ropes, but Becky ended up following her into the ropes and clotheslined Liv Morgan down. Liv Morgan ended up popping up. She ended up shoving Becky Lynch in the face. Becky Lynch then slapped Liv Morgan back and bounced Morgan in the corner. Liv Morgan started to fight back, but Becky Lynch ended up grabbing Liv Morgan's arm. Liv Morgan ended up rolling away. She ended up charging at Becky, but Liv Morgan ended up landing on the apron when Becky ended up moving out of the way. Liv Morgan then avoided a baseball slide from Becky, and she ended up getting into the ring. Liv Morgan then delivered a suicide dive to Becky, which, when she delivered that suicide dive, it looked like her foot got caught on the ropes, but Liv ended up landing pretty safely, at this spot here in the match. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Liv Morgan was in control of the match. She ended up connected with a pair of shoulder tackles to Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan started kicking away at Becky, ended up taking her down with an enziguri. Liv Morgan then kicked up. She ended up sizing Becky Lynch up. Liv Morgan then avalanched Becky, ended up charging at her, but Becky ended up moving out of the way. Becky ended up hitting a springboard kick to Liv Morgan, which was followed up by the Bexploder. Becky then ended up hitting another Bexploder to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan then rolled out of the ring. Becky Lynch ended up hitting the baseball slide, which Becky ended up getting on the apron. She ended up hitting a flying forearm to the floor to Liv Morgan. Becky ended up getting Liv Morgan in the ring. She went to the top rope. Becky ended up diving off the top, but Liv Morgan ended up countering Becky with a code breaker, which looked pretty good. She ended up delivering the code breaker to Becky out of midair. So both women were down. So both women ended up slowly getting up. They started exchanging some forearms to their faces. Becky ended up coming out on top. She ended up hitting the ropes. Liv Morgan then followed Becky into the ropes, and she ended up hitting a springboard code breaker to Becky. Liv Morgan ended up going for the cover, and Becky ended up kicking out, to which Liv Morgan couldn't believe that Becky ended up kicking out of that. So Liv Morgan ended up waiting for Becky to get up, but Becky ended up kicking Liv Morgan back. Becky ended up grabbing Liv's arm, but Liv ended up putting Becky on the apron. So Becky ended up quickly kicking Liv, pulled her to the apron. Becky ended up going for a suplex on the apron, but Liv ended up blocking it. Becky ended up going for a German suplex off of the apron, but Liv ended up holding on. Liv ended up fighting Becky off. She ended up knocking her into the ring post. She ended up hitting a sunset flip powerbomb to Becky on the floor, which was crazy. So Liv ended up quickly getting Becky into the ring. She ended up going for the cover, and Becky ended up kicking out. Liv Morgan was shown in shock because of Becky kicking out. So later on, we had Becky end up hitting a manhandle slam to Liv. Becky ended up crawling over to the corner, but Liv Morgan rolled out of the ring. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Becky was attempting to lock into this armor on Liv, but Liv ended up rolling Becky up, and Becky ended up kicking out. Liv then quickly transitioned into a stretch, but Becky ended up getting out of that. So we had both women, they were trading pins, and both women ended up kicking out at 2. So Liv Morgan ended up stunning Becky with a DDT. She then followed up with the Oblivion, but Becky ended up rolling out of the ring to save herself. So at the end of the match, we had Liv end up quickly kicking Becky back. She ended up diving off the ropes, but Becky ended up grabbing Liv. She ended up delivering the manhandle slam to Liv. So Becky ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Becky Lynch ended up winning the match. Post-match, Becky Lynch ended up looking over at Liv, and she ended up giving Liv a nod of respect. And then we had Rhea Ripley, Women's World Champion. She ended up making her way to the ring. Liv Morgan stared up the ramp at Rhea Ripley. Of course, Rhea Ripley ended up taking Liv Morgan out of action for months. So Rhea Ripley stared down at Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan ended up shouting that she will take everything from Rhea Ripley. So Rhea Ripley got into the ring. She stared down at Becky Lynch, who she's going to be facing at WrestleMania for the Women's World Championship. So Rhea Ripley sarcastically congratulated Becky. She kept saying, was it all worth it to beat Liv Morgan? She kept saying that Becky seems to be getting into these fights weekly and leaving it all in the ring. She kept saying they seem to be getting closer and closer to WrestleMania. And that's what the man is all about, right? So Rhea Ripley ended up saying that she'll fight anyone at any time and anywhere. She ended up saying that she knows the real reason why she does it. So she kept saying that Becky thinks she still has to prove that she's the best. But she knows deep down that Rhea is better than her. Rhea ended up saying that if Becky doesn't step into WrestleMania at 100%, she'll stop being the man. And she'll be a disappointment. So we had a mommy chant end up picking up from the crowd. To which, I forgot to say, Rhea Ripley looked stunning tonight. So Becky ended up saying before the Royal Rumble, she looked Rhea Ripley in the eye and said she thinks Rhea is better than her. But she has to prove she's not. Becky ended up saying that when people believe in her, she's good. When people doubt her, she's great. She ended up saying that if it has to be her against the whole world doesn't stand a chance. So Becky then walked off on Rhea Ripley, and that was basically that. But overall, very meh match against Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. And I liked the little segment here between, Rhea Ripley and Becky here. And then we got a video from Adam Pearce and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, they end up having a groundbreaking announcement for WrestleMania. Nick Aldis ended up saying that he is a fan of tag team wrestling. And at WrestleMania, the Judgment Day will defend their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against 5 of the very best teams in the WWE in a special match that matches the magnitude of the biggest WrestleMania of all time. So it's going to be a 6-pack ladder match. And Adam Pearce ended up saying that teams will compete to get a spot in the match over the next few weeks. So I like this option here. A 6-pack ladder match. Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship will be hanging above the ring. It's going to be taking place at WrestleMania. And we all know for a fact that The Miz and R-Truth are going to be in the matches. The teams will compete. So R-Truth and The Miz will be one of them. And without a doubt, they will be winning at WrestleMania 40. The Miz and R-Truth, in my opinion, my prediction, they will be winning the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. And it's going to be a big moment for R-Truth. So I like that, having a 6-pack ladder match. And then we saw Finn Balor and Damian Priest. They were shocked by the news of that 6-pack ladder match happening at WrestleMania and the titles will be on the line. So Priest ended up saying that they've never had a problem with Adam Pearce until now. So Balor ended up saying that they need to talk to Adam Pearce right now. So they end up leaving. Apparently Balor and Priest are not happy about this. And then we had a boring tag team match. Maxxine Dupri and Ivy Nile versus Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell. The only thing to talk about in this match is Candice LeRae, turning heel here. Candice LeRae started shouting that Maxxine Dupri doesn't belong here. And that if Dupri thinks the internet hates her, she should hear what the girls in the locker room have to say about her. So Candice ended up mentioning Maxxine's dead brother isn't here to see what a disappointment she is. So Maxxine Dupri ended up charging off, and that led to Indi Hartwell delivering a big boot to Dupri. Candice LeRae knocked Ivy Nile off the apron, and Candice LeRae ordered Indi Hartwell to pin Maxxine Dupri. So Indi then ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell ended up winning the match. Overall, boring match this was, and I'm interested in to see where they take, Candice LeRae, being a heel here. So let's see what WWE does. And then we had Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. They were talking in their office. Finn Balor and Damian Priest stormed in. And they ended up saying that they're not happy about having a ladder match at WrestleMania. Pearce ended up trying to defend that, but Priest ended up telling Pearce to stop. And that he wants to know whose idea this was. To which Nick Aldis ended up saying, it is better left unsaid. Balor ended up saying that he has great ideas, but no one listens. And that they want The Miz and R-Truth. To which Pearce ended up saying that they're not here. So R-Truth walked in. So Adam Pearce was wrong about R-Truth not being here. So Pearce ended up reminding R-Truth that he is supposed to be doing media. But R-Truth was like, oh, that's on Monday. Apparently it is Monday, R-Truth. So Pierce ended up telling R-Truth that it is Monday. And so R-Truth was like, oh, that's why The Miz isn't here. So Priest ended up telling Adam Pearce to make the match. So pretty much that was basically that. So then we have Michael Cole in the ring. Michael Cole introduced Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes came out, got a big ovation. Everybody was going, whoa! Of course. So Cody got into the ring. The fans were chanting for Cody. Michael Cole ended up asking Cody what he wants to talk about. And he started chuckling. So he ended up saying that The Rock trumpeted that he is on the board of directors and he is Cody's boss. And that The Rock ended up saying that if Cody doesn't get the job done, he won't challenge for a title shot again. So Michael Cole was like, why did you slap The Rock? So Cody ended up saying that he's not so sure The Rock is his boss. He ended up saying if he is, it feels good to slap your boss. He ended up saying before the red carpet premieres, the tequila, the energy drinks, and the mana, The Rock was a great wrestler. He ended up saying that The Rock knows what that slap was. It was a receipt. So then Michael Cole ended up asking why Cody accepted this match. He ended up saying that Rollins accepted it for him, and so much can go wrong for WrestleMania Sunday. So Cody ended up saying that him and Rollins have a long history, and Rollins has made it clear that he wants to be the top champion in the company. He ended up saying that Rollins is the last person to have defended Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match, and that Rollins beat him by disqualification. So we had Cody end up saying that he hasn't always gotten along with Rollins, but he always had his respect. Cody ended up saying that he is happy to go to war with Rollins. He ended up saying, besides, this is his one shot at getting a fair fight at WrestleMania Night 2 against the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So, Cody wanted to answer a question Michael Cole ended up asking the last time they were in the ring. And we saw a replay from October where Michael Cole was asking if coming close to winning, but coming up short is his story. So Cody ended up saying that it was a good question, even now. So Cody ended up saying that he can't say he'll get him next year because he already said it. And that the story isn't about him and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. The story is about the fans that have been with him from the beginning. So we had a Cody chant end up picking up. Cody was drawn to tears. He ended up saying that he can't hand the title to Dusty, but he can give it to his mother, Michelle. He ended up saying then there's his number one fan, his wife, Brandy. He ended up saying that she took a shot on him when he was wearing a goofy mask and taking RKOs every night. He ended up saying that the story is behind him, but it's up to him. He ended up saying last year at WrestleMania, Roman said they were in the third inning. Cody ended up saying they are now in the last inning. He ended up saying that at WrestleMania 40, Michael Cole gets to say for the first time in the history of the company and his family that a Rhodes is a world champion. He ended up saying Michael Cole gets to say at WrestleMania 40 that he finished the story, that Cody finished his story. And pretty much that was basically how the segment ended. Cody Rhodes and Michael Cole end up embracing. But overall, I thought this was a very good segment here. Very good interview with Michael Cole, interviewing Cody Rhodes here. And then we got a video promo from Ricochet. Ricochet ended up saying that his road to WrestleMania starts tonight. And that JD McDonough says you should never bet against an ace. So pretty much that was that. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Liv Morgan was shown sitting backstage. And Becky Lynch walked up to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan then stood up. Both women ended up shaking hands. And all of a sudden, Nia Jax avalanched both Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch from behind. Nia Jax grabbed Liv and sent Liv into a road crate. Nia Jax then grabbed Becky and she had pinned a manhandle slam through a table. So agents ended up running up, they ended up backing Nia Jax away, and pretty much that was that. But, watching Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan earlier in the night, I was like, okay, is Nia Jax going to cause the match to go to disqualification? And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And I was like, oh, somehow Nia Jax has got to play into this, and we got it right here. That was that. And then we had the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi Sane and Asuka. They ended up taking on Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. The Women's Tag Team Championship was on the line. Of course, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, they were accompanied by Io Sky and Dakota Kai. And this was just a very meh match here. Didn't even care for it. You know what the outcome of the match was going to be. So Asuka tagged in, and she ended up kicking Shayna Baszler in the head. And the Kabuki Warriors ended up hitting a reverse DDT Insane Elbow on Baszler. So there you go. The Kabuki Warriors end up winning the match, retaining the Women's Tag Team Championship. Another for me to go over in this match because you all knew what the outcome of the match was going to be. Very meh match this was. And then we saw the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day were talking backstage, and Andrade walked up to them. So Damian Priest wasn't happy, and Rhea Ripley ended up saying to them that she invited Andrade to come here. Rhea ended up telling Andrade that Dominic isn't here tonight. Of course, Dominic ended up getting married, I think over the weekend, last week. So congrats to him. So Rhea ended up saying that the Judgment Day would like to talk to Andrade. Andrade ended up saying that he's all about business. Balor ended up saying that he's known Andrade for a long time and that he finds Andrade intriguing. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that Andrade brings a lot. So Priest ended up saying that he wants to continue focusing on WrestleMania. And that starts by him handling R-Truth. So that was that. And then we had a video promo from Shinsuke Nakamura. He ended up warning Gunther to keep his eyes open. And then we had a promo from Bronson Reed saying that people don't know what real hard work is. He ended up saying tonight he's punching his ticket to WrestleMania. So there you go. That was what Nakamura and Bronson Reed had to say before going into the Gauntlet Match. And then we had R-Truth versus Damian Priest. And this was just another meh match here. We had Damian Priest end up making his entrance. R-Truth was the first to make his way out. Of course, he did the whole, "What's up? What's up?" So as Damian Priest made his way out, he blindsided R-Truth with a forearm. Priest started stomping away at Truth. Truth started fighting back, but Priest ended up knocking him back. Priest ended up punching Truth in the face. He then forearmed Truth and sent him into the ropes. Priest then threw Truth out of the ring, started taunting the crowd. And then DIY, Gargano and Ciampa ended up running down, and they both cheered R-Truth on. Priest ended up going for the Razor's Edge, threw the commentary table to Truth, but Truth ended up sliding off. he had sent Priest into the ring post. Truth then got on the apron, and he had pinned a diving clothesline to Priest. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Priest was in control of the match. He had taken Truth down with a flatliner. He ended up going for the cover, and Truth ended up kicking out. So Priest ended up going to the top rope. Truth ended up pinning the ropes to crotch Priest. Truth ended up pinning a pair of running shoulder tackles to Priest, which was followed up by a back suplex powerbomb. And of course, Truth then did, John Cena with the 5-knuckle shuffle to Priest. Truth then connected with the attitude adjustment. So Truth ended up going for the cover, and Priest ended up kicking out. Truth ended up quickly going into the STF. And Jada McDonough and Finn Balor came out. They ended up attacking Gargano and Ciampa at ringside. Truth ended up going to the top rope. He ended up diving onto McDonough and Balor. So Truth then got into the ring. Priest ended up flooring Truth with a clothesline. Priest then pulled the straps, and he had pinned the South of Heaven on Truth. Priest ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Damian Priest ended up winning the match. Post-match, McDonough ended up attacking Ciampa in the ring because Ciampa and Gargano treated to R-Truth. So McDonough attacked Ciampa in the ring. Johnny Gargano ended up stopping McDonough. Balor then ended up helping take Gargano out. Priest then ended up hitting Ciampa with the South of Heaven on the apron. And then Balor hit Gargano with the coup de grace. And that was basically that. Overall, very meh match this was from Damian Priest and Truth. Obviously, we knew that Priest was going to pick up the win. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Becky Lynch. Becky was sitting in the trainer's room. She kept saying that she shouldn't be doing this so close to WrestleMania. But it's her against the world. So Becky ended up saying that she wants Nia Jax next week on Raw in a last woman standing match. Great. Fucking great. What is this, like the billionth time we've seen Becky Lynch and Nia Jax? God. Yeah, like everybody was asking for this match. Everybody was asking for another rematch with Becky Lynch and Nia Jax. Said no one ever. Then we had Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso. He made his way down to the ring. Got a big ovation. Everybody was doing the Jey Uso. Jey ended up getting on the mic. He kept saying, Jimmy Uso. He kept saying that he came to Monday Night Raw for a fresh start. And that the bloodline won't let him go. So, everybody in the crowd was doing, yeet. He kept saying that Jimmy won't let him go. Yeet. So how about this? Yeet. The crowd was going along with what, Jey was saying. And then after every saying, the crowd was just going, yeet. He's like, brother versus brother. Twin versus twin. Blood versus blood. It's going to be him versus Jimmy at WrestleMania. So Jey ended up telling Jimmy to accept his challenge because he will knock the yeet out of his ass. So there you go. Obviously, it's going to be brother versus brother at WrestleMania. It's going to be Jey Uso versus Jimmy. It's going to be made official. And then we had Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Gunther, to which Gunther is now 640 days as the Intercontinental Champion. So Jackie Redmond was asking Gunther, is he underestimating the 6 superstars in this Gauntlet match? To which Gunther ended up telling Jackie Redmond he's not. He kept saying 640 days ago, he beat Ricochet to become the Intercontinental Champion. He kept saying since then, he has elevated the title to heights not seen before. He kept saying tonight, the creme de la creme competes on Raw for a chance at this great prize at WrestleMania. Talking about, of course, the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther ended up saying that it takes a lot to be in his position. So Gunther ended up saying whoever will win this gauntlet match. Good luck. So there you go. That was what Gunther had to say. Impressive reign that Gunther has been having as the Intercontinental Champion. Now 640 days as the champion. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, which was announced this morning. And Muhammad Ali will be the latest inductee into the 2024 Hall of Fame. Very well respected on, them inducting Muhammad Ali. Of course, legend. So then they announced what we're going to see next Monday on Raw. Of course, there will be tag team qualifying matches. And then we'll also have Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax for the billionth time in a last woman standing match. And then they also announced that in 2 weeks, CM Punk returns to Monday Night Raw, which will be in Chicago. So CM Punk returns in 2 weeks. Main event, of course, the Gauntlet Match. And the first two to kick off the Gauntlet Match was Ricochet versus JD McDonough. This was pretty good here. We had Ricochet and McDonough circling the ring. They end up locking up. McDonough ended up quickly wrenching Ricochet's arm. Ricochet quickly ended up going to a waist lock. McDonough got out of that. He ended up twisting Ricochet's arm again. McDonough ended up kicking Ricochet back, and he ended up hitting a back elbow. McDonough hit the ropes, but Ricochet ended up hitting a monkey flip. He followed up with a drop kick to McDonough. McDonough then reversed the whip, and Ricochet ended up pulling the ropes. McDonough then charged at Ricochet, but Ricochet hit a back body drop over the top rope. And McDonough then avoided a baseball slide from Ricochet. Ricochet ended up knocking McDonough back. He went to the top rope. He ended up going for a crossbody block, but McDonough countered that with a gutbuster to Ricochet. McDonough ended up sending Ricochet out of the ring, and he landed on the floor back first. We had McDonough end up going for the cover on Ricochet, to which Ricochet ended up kicking out. McDonough later on, he ended up connecting with a brainbuster to Ricochet. He went for the cover, and Ricochet ended up kicking out. McDonough then slapped Ricochet in the face. Ricochet ended up slapping McDonough back. Ricochet slapped back at McDonough, and he ended up hitting a Poison Rana to McDonough. Ricochet then hit the ropes, but McDonough ended up taking Ricochet out with a Spanish Fly, a nice looking Spanish Fly. So McDonough ended up going for the cover, and Ricochet ended up kicking out. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, McDonough was in control of the match. He ended up slapping Ricochet on the apron. Ricochet ended up slapping McDonough with a right hand. McDonough then ended up blocking a kick from Ricochet, and he ended up slapping him. Ricochet popped up. He ended up pinning a Death Valley driver to McDonough on the apron. So both men, crashed to ringside. So we had Ricochet end up pinning a springboard moonsault to McDonough. He followed up with a Northern Light suplex, and then he rolled into a suplex to McDonough, to which McDonough ended up kicking out. So in the end, Ricochet ended up standing on the top rope. He ended up pinning a shooting star press onto McDonough. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Ricochet ended up eliminating McDonough from the Gauntlet match. So then Ricochet took on Bronson Reed, to which Reed ended up going to the top. He hit the tsunami on Ricochet. So Bronson Reed ended up eliminating Ricochet from the Gauntlet match. And then it was Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn, which this was good here. Sami Zayn sidestepped Reed, and he ended up sending Reed out of the ring. Zayn ended up chopping Reed in his chest, but Reed came back, delivered a chop of his own to Sami. Reed ended up headbutting Sami and sent him into the barricade, but Sami ended up leaping off the barricade with a moonsault block to Reed. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back, Reed was in control of the match. He ended up sending Sami Zayn into the ropes. Sami Zayn ended up ducking some attacks from Reed, but Reed ended up avalanching Sami. Reed then ended up hitting a twisted suplex to Sami. He ended up going for the cover, to which Sami ended up kicking out. So in the end, we had Bronson Reed having Sami on the top rope. He climbed to the second rope. Sami then countered with a sunset flip powerbomb, and Sami ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Sami ended up eliminating Bronson Reed from the Gauntlet match. Then Sami ended up taking on Nakamura. So as Nakamura made his entrance, Bronson Reed ended up attacking Sami Zayn from behind. Bronson Reed went to the top. He ended up crushing Sami with the tsunami, to which Nakamura looked pleased that Bronson Reed did that. So Nakamura got into the ring. Nakamura was getting ready to go for the Kinshasa, but Sami ended up rolling Nakamura up, and Nakamura ended up kicking out. So I'm like, how did Sami recover from a 300-pounder jumping off the top, landing on him with the tsunami? That's crazy. So Nakamura ended up kicking Sami in his head. He started stomping away at Sami. Sami then rolled out of the ring to recover, and then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Nakamura was in control of the match. He connected with the bad vibrations to Sami Zayn in the corner. So at the end, we had Sami Zayn end up hitting Nakamura with the Hoover kick, and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Sami Zayn ended up eliminating Nakamura from the Gauntlet match. And of course, it was down to Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Chad Gable was the last guy to come out and face Sami Zayn. And this was absolutely awesome. Sami Zayn and Chad Gable here in this point in the Gauntlet match was great. So Gable got into the ring. He was shouting for Sami Zayn to get up. So Gable ended up pulling Sami Zayn to his feet. He pointed at the WrestleMania sign. Chad Gable ended up grabbing Sami. He ended up hitting a pair of German suplexes to Sami. Sami then ended up fighting out of a third suplex. Gable ended up taking Sami down for an ankle lock attempt, which Sami Zayn ended up getting out. He ended up shouldering Gable back. Sami Zayn ended up knocking Gable out of the ring. He ended up going for a baseball slide, but Gable countered that into an ankle lock. Sami ended up kicking Gable off, and Gable ended up falling into the ring steps. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from its final commercial, Gable was in control. He started punching away at Sami on the top rope. Gable ended up hitting a superplex off the top to Sami, ended up going for the cover, and Sami Zayn ended up kicking out. We had Chad Gable ended up heading back to the top rope, but Sami Zayn ended up cutting Gable off. Sami ended up going for a back superplex, but Gable ended up elbowing Sami off. Gable ended up going for a moonsault, but Sami got his knees up, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Gable ended up kicking out. So we had Sami Zayn end up charging for the Hoover kick to Gable, but his ankle was hurt because, of course, Chad Gable ended up locking in the ankle lock a few times. So Gable ended up taking Sami down. He put the ankle lock back on Sami. So Sami ended up rolling over. He tried to kick Gable off, but Gable ended up dropping down. He ended up rolling over to keep the ankle lock applied on Sami. Sami started fighting up, and Gable ended up hitting Sami with a German suplex. Gable ended up quickly going to the top rope for a moonsault, but Sami rolled out of the way. So Sami ended up hitting the Hoover kick, and he slowly crawled over and covered Chad Gable, to which Gable ended up kicking out. Gable then transitioned into a pin attempt, but Sami ended up kicking out too. So in the end, we had Gable end up hitting some crossface clubs to Sami's face. He ended up pulling the straps down. Gable hit the Chaos Theory on Sami. Gable ended up going for the cover, and Sami ended up kicking out. Gable immediately ended up going back to the ankle lock on Sami. Sami ended up managing to counter the ankle lock into a roll-up, and he ended up pinning Chad Gable, so Sami Zayn won the match, and so Sami Zayn will face Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. So, post-match, Gunther ended up walking out to the stage. He smiled at Sami, and that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Chad Gable couldn't believe that he didn't pick up the win, and his WrestleMania dreams went up in smoke. But overall, this was awesome from Sami Zayn and Chad Gable in this point in the Gauntlet match. But I don't mind that Sami won the match and he's facing Gunther at WrestleMania. Would I love to see Chad Gable win? Yes. Have Chad Gable get his WrestleMania moment, and he should beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. But his WrestleMania dreams went up in smoke. Sami Zayn will now be the one facing Gunther, unless WWE they do possibly maybe a triple threat match. Maybe have Gunther face Sami Zayn, and then have Chad Gable in there. So get that triple threat. And either have Sami or Gunther, win the Intercontinental Championship. But, there are people online saying, oh, let's have a triple threat. Have WWE make it a triple threat at WrestleMania, because I forgot to mention, when Sami Zayn went for the cover on Chad Gable's arm, was, slightly up. So, that sort of comes into play there. Maybe, WWE might possibly book a triple threat. So, we'll have to wait and see. But so far now, it's Sami Zayn versus Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. But overall, Monday Night Raw was just a very awful mid-show, in my opinion. Absolutely boring. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. So, see you then.